It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go Friday show, February 2nd, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, WoodwardSports.com, Fox2Detroit.com, and the Fox local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, part of the over 62,000 subscribers on this platform, thank you very much for doing so. Hit the like button. It helps YouTube push our content out to more people. And tell a friend about Woodward Sports. Subscribe to our network. Braylon Edwards, that sun is shining out there today. Good afternoon to you.
Shining bright and shining in here as well. Good to be with you guys. We made it through another week. It's Friday, another gym day, so 5 days in a row. Feeling good. Also, Ryan, we got to do something about that opening. We got to get in the open.
Okay.
Maybe I can get in the open.
100%. You and I are both 3 years older than that picture in those videos.
Man. Well, I'm about 12 years older than some of the video in that.
Oh, this is true.
But yeah, we'll work on Ryan and Noah, JB, and Pete. How about
we
that?
both look better, and then we got to get Maz in
Look
there
at that.
too.
Well, yeah, Maz has to be in
Speaking
there
of that,
with Maz.
hey Maz,
Hey, fellas.
how you doing, man?
I'm good. I got to hear a lot of Jim Harbaugh today. I'm excited. I'm dressed for the occasion.
Is that San Diego Chargers or is it Los Angeles Chargers?
Always San Diego, Charlie. You know that.
Right,
Bring
man,
back
right
the
answer.
Murph.
Don't let the powder blues fool you. Isn't that what he said?
They're gorgeous.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
We've got Pete Spivak. We've got JB here today, too. Pete, you're a warrior, man. Warrior.
I appreciate you, brothers.
Oh,
I
no,
have to,
man.
I take care of my boys first.
Oh, man. You're a warrior
Appreciate you,
in
bro.
that
You got the
booth.
leather coat on.
Just make sure you stay in there today.
You should probably give all your reads to JB today.
Right.
Just shut your mouth for
Just
the
make
rest
sure
of
that's
the
all
day.
you give them.
JB, you feeling any better today, man?
A little bit better.
All right.
Okay.
Very good.
JB's on the ropes,
Very
too.
good. He's on the ropes, too. Guys, fun show for you today. We'll talk to Bill Keenist coming up.
Bill.
Bill's worked for the Lions organization for over 30 years. Retired now, but
He's with the NFL, though.
works with the NFL, yes, as well, but retired from the Lions organization.
Still a Lions historian still.
He is a Lions historian, absolutely. But as far as the day-to-day stuff goes, but he's a fun guest. We'll talk to him about all things Lions. But I do want to just first say the good news today that happened. That is that Punxsutawney Phil has not seen his shadow.
Oh, don't tell people.
We do have that
show.
clip. Well,
But
here
what
you go.
this weather did not provide is a shadow or reason to hide. Glad tidings on this Groundhog Day. An early spring is on the way.
I can never not think
Seriously.
of Bill Murray when
Right.
I hear
God.
Punxsutawney Phil. and
Might watch that
Groundhog
movie
Day.
tonight.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'll join you.
There you go.
I think we might put that on tonight. That'd be a good one.
Brittany will like that.
She definitely will.
I love tradition. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I know, but it's still, I like it.
It is. I mean, I like it too, but it is still dumb. I just
It
want to
is.
get that on the record.
I think dumb things are cool sometimes.
I do too. Now, some people may think this is dumb. I do not.
Uh-oh.
Okay? Now, you guys know how anybody that watches this show,
Right.
okay, at any point over the last several years knows that I have a love for J.J. McCarthy.
Okay, I know where we're going.
I think he is the greatest quarterback ever to play at Michigan. Can we just, first with that statement, can we go on record here?
Yes.
How do you feel about that statement in and of itself?
Play for Chad Henne is tough. It's tough. I'm a Chad guy. But in terms of what he accomplished, like it's hands down. JJ did it. No one did it at his level. Even Chad Henne himself told me that JJ was number one. So, yes, I agree with you.
I'll tie him with Brian Greasy. Both won a championship. Both, in my eyes, are phenomenal Michigan quarterbacks. But I love those guys as well. John Navarre. The list goes on and on. Chad Henne.
I love Brian Greasy, too. Like,
Not even on the list.
Yeah, nah.
You won a championship.
I understand.
This is
I'm
true.
not talking about winning.
Right.
I'm talking about the best player at that position was J.J. McCarthy. If you go through Michigan quarterbacks, now specifically
better than Harbaugh,
he's better than Jim Harbaugh.
Better numbers?
Not numbers.
I don't know about numbers.
So what are you talking about then?
I think he's a better quarterback.
I said championships. You said that don't count. I said numbers. You said that don't count.
He is a better athlete and can do more things at the quarterback position than any other quarterback in Michigan history. He has also won more games, has a better winning percentage than any quarterback ever to play
That's
at
a
Michigan.
Fact. There you go. Rest your laurels on that.
Well, if you want to listen, if you want to sit here and fight about semantics, that's fine. I know what my eyes
Well, I'm
tell
not
me.
gonna fight. I'm just
Well,
busting
I
your
know
chops.
it's dumb
Busting
though.
your
It's a
chops.
dumb thing to say.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Right, it's a dumb thing to say.
I like the groundhog.
James
You
is
don't.
number one. James is number one.
Well, I'm just trying to
At the end of the
conduct
day-
a show here.
At the end of the day, it's about winning. And J.J. McCarthy has done that in spades. He did it as a junior. I mean, as a freshman, he did it. He did it last year, and then he definitely did it this year at the highest level. They won the national championship. So you're absolutely right. I mean, we judge Tom Brady. We call him the greatest of all time, not because he's an athlete, not because he's out there mixing it up like Patrick Mahomes. We call him the greatest of all time because of what? Stats, numbers, and championships. So I agree.
Okay.
I agree with you.
So one of the things that I've also said is that, and people may believe this is dumb, and I've already gotten the dumb hate on the thing, and that's fine. I've also said that I think when it's all said and done, J.J. McCarthy will be the number one player selected in the draft. I am not the only one. Here is Jim Harbaugh earlier today on the Colin Cowherd Show.
I can ask you about J.J. McCarthy as a kid. How do you think he'll do? What does he bring to the table that maybe I can't see as a TV viewer?
Arm talent, athleticism, it factor, winning with numbing repetition. Don't be surprised when he goes to he's the number one quarterback off the board. That's my prediction right now. When people get a load of JJ and what he, how he can throw the ball, how he spins it, his athleticism, his intelligence, talk about it factor, he's got it, the competitiveness that he has. And they get around him and they really start digging in and they start talking to him. That's an early prediction for the 2024 NFL draft.
Small last thing, and again, that was courtesy of the Colin Cowherd Show from earlier today. Small little caveat to this. If Jim Harbaugh didn't truly believe that, I think he just says, love J.J. McCarthy. This guy's the ultimate competitor. Whoever takes him in the draft is going to get a really great player, and they will never regret it. If he didn't believe it. So that's my caveat. Braylon Edwards.
I'll start here. He's coached JJ for the better part of the last 3 years. JJ won a national title for him, and JJ's already been called a first-round quarterback. What else was Jim Harbaugh going to go on that show and say once asked about JJ McCarthy? Anything else would have been blasphemous. And I believe there's an element. He believes in JJ. He knows if JJ gets in the right system. He believes in JJ. JJ just won him a national championship to a certain extent. So he has to say that. Lloyd Carr called me the best player in the country.
You were.
True, but I mean.
And you went number 3 overall.
But you've seen him appreciate that. But you've seen him double down on Jim Harbaugh's done it before. He's doubled down on Jabril Peppers, Rashawn Gary, his players. He'll talk about them. He'll big them up. So I think that's what a coach is supposed to do. Now, is he right?
And you did, by the way, have interviews with the team that had the number 1 overall pick. So what Lloyd Carr said was not just a bunch of coach speak.
Okay.
He was speaking the truth.
Okay, I appreciate that bad example. So I stricken that from the record books. But I think it's one of those situations where there's some elements of that is true because you have to interview. When JJ does the interview process at the draft, when he goes and visits these teams, he's going to knock that out the park. I mean, this kid is all class. He's a great kid. He's dialed in. He does his research. So he'll wow them with that. He's a hell of an athlete. You can make a case that he's next to Jaden Daniels, who had 1,000 yards rushing. He's the best quarterback athlete in this draft. You can make that argument. He has the big arm. You'll see that when he does the camp. So he'll be able to play himself into a more favorable position with the scouting combine and then Michigan's pro day. But to draft him over quarterbacks like Caleb Williams, and look, I know you don't like Caleb Williams the most, but just look at it's tough to draft a kid with no numbers over a kid with all the numbers. A kid that won the Heisman, a kid that everybody's calling a generational talent. It's hard to jump that when you look at his numbers. It's not all about numbers, as you said, Maz, But when you're looking at the kid, like JJ's never JJ had what 24 touchdowns this year or 25. He's never thrown over 3,000 yards. Yeah, he doesn't use his leg enough, I think, in estimation. So to jump guys like him and Drake May, and he can jump Jaden Daniels. I'll give you that. It's just a tough road, Ryan, for me to see him going number 1 overall when I hadn't seen consistent great quarterback play.
Small caveat, Maz, before we get to you, I'm sorry. First quarterback off the board. Maybe the Bears stay at 1.
Okay.
Maybe the Bears hear Caleb Williams. He doesn't want to go to Chicago. Maybe they take a Marvin Harrison and pair him up with Justin Fields. So first quarterback off the board, if that's a fair caveat. Tom?
Do you believe he'll be a first-round pick? I'm asking Braylon, not you, right? Do you believe he'll be a first-round pick? And if so, he will be the first Michigan player to go in the first round, offensive player, since you.
Offensive skill player.
Since you.
Oh, wow. Damn. Braylon strikes again. If I'm being honest, I don't think he's necessarily a lock for first round right now. I think, and based on this, when you look at a quarterback, you look at consistency. You look at quarterbacks being able to win games. You look at quarterbacks being able to drive the ball down the field. You see a couple things like that. You look for the numbers. I mean, we play and they play now in college football. Every quarterback can get 30 touchdowns. At any school, 30 touchdowns. 4,000 yards used to seem like, he had 4,000. Now 4,000 is the number. It's the average. Cass is throwing for 5,000. So I think right now, based on his college career and based on his numbers, he's like a tweener. I think he's somewhere at the back of the first round, somewhere at the beginning of the second round. But it goes back to the combine, the interviews. How is he going to run? How is he going to throw? What does he look like? How confident is he when he goes through his process? People play their way, run their way, lift their way, interview their way up into into the top 10. I mean, I've seen it all. You see it all the time. So I think he's teetering on end of the first, beginning of the second. But you're talking about in January. He's got a lot of time to move that needle from now to then.
Yeah. So if he goes on the back end of the first, that means he's going to a good team. That means he's going to a playoff team. So let's go to the playoff teams.
Yeah.
Cleveland, they're not going to take him. They got Deshaun Watson. Houston, they're not going to take him. They got C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, they got Baker. Will they take him? Possibly.
Baker's
the Rams,
cheap.
they got Stafford. Will they take him? Sure.
But, yeah.
Why not?
100%.
Why not? Those teams. Then if you
bad.
go on San Francisco, they're not going to take him. They got Brock Purdy. Unless they tell him Brock Purdy that, Kansas City ain't taking him.
But here's the thing, too, though. It goes to
Lions aren't taking him.
It goes to what Mike Tannenbaum has always told us. Like, if you don't have the guy, if you're not necessarily count, what's the problem in drafting a quarterback?
Right.
Like, for the 49ers, like, Brock Purdy's year 2. Is he getting paid at the end of this year? No. Brock Purdy's not going to. They may do something because he's not. He's
got to get a raise.
He's got to get a raise. So, they won't be San Fran because they got a raise. They'll pay him. Yeah. So it wouldn't be San Fran.
I think Rams and Bucks are good back-end teams to look at.
Go back to San Fran. It's very interesting. Brock Purdy hasn't looked great in either one of the playoff games that they played in, correct? Like, he didn't look that good against the Green Bay Packers.
Second half, yes.
Well, second half to a certain extent, but with his legs. With his legs against the Detroit Lions. He had the one drive against the Green Bay Packers. Ryan, what if Brock Purdy goes into this game and, for lack of a better word, poops the bed? Like, and you're the 49ers, and you're like, and this is the guy we're supposed to pay. I think this game determines what the San Fran's going to do with the quarterback play. But going to a good team, going to a good spot, that's what JJ needs. He needs to be in a good system. Is he the quarterback that I think just come to a team and take over? I don't think so. But there's not too many of those that exist. You put him in the right system, you get him to a good team, a good structure, a good organization. He could very well definitely be what you did say, though, the best quarterback in this draft when their career's over.
Is Eric Bieniemy still the offensive coordinator in Washington? Do we know that or not?
He hasn't been changed, but he ain't going to last.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to be something new there.
Yeah, I look at what happened with Houston last year, too. Defensive-minded head coach. You bring in the right offensive coordinator and you draft a quarterback. I could see the Washington Commanders taking him at 2. They've got their defensive head coach in Dan Quinn. You bring in an offensive coordinator and a guy like J.J. McCarthy to compete in that NFC East division. I could absolutely see that being the pick at 2. I could see him being the pick at 3 to the New England Patriots. You go Michigan, Tom Brady, Michigan. Maybe there's some sort of nostalgia. Yeah. They absolutely are going to take a quarterback there. And I just think like Jim Harbaugh, everything that I say, and I don't remember what I said, if it was October or November, but whenever I said that J.J. McCarthy was going to be the number one pick of the draft or the number one quarterback off the board, I firmly believe wherever he's picked, he's going to be the best quarterback in this draft. I firmly believe that. And just like Jim Harbaugh said, though, it's not so much about now. It is about when this kid gets in front of these scouts and general managers and coaches. He just has that it factor that will be so impressive to them that they won't be able to help but want to be around him. And, compare that with just the pure talent aspect of Caleb Williams. And whether or not you believe Caleb Williams, the news yesterday that he doesn't want to go to Chicago, I want your thoughts on that as well, because he's not the first quarterback that has ever said, I don't want to go to X place. We'll talk about that next.
Yeah, no, 100%, because I want to you said something interesting. You named a team, and I think you might be onto something.
We'll talk about all that next. But first, a message from us here at Woodward Sports Network. We invite you all to go to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab for the latest in Detroit sports wearables, hoodies, tees, hats, everything in between. Comfortable, affordable, right there. And you will get it quickly as well. Woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. We'll be right back.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome. Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented...
Live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
I'm going to ask you about J.J. McCarthy as a kid. How do you think he'll do? What does he bring to the table that maybe I can't see as a TV viewer?
Arm talent, athleticism, it factor, winning with numbing repetition. Don't be surprised when he goes to he's the number one quarterback off the board. That's my prediction right now. When people get a load of JJ and what how he can throw the ball, how he spins it, his athleticism, his intelligence, talk about it factor, he's got it, the competitiveness that he has, and they get around him and they really start digging in and they start talking to him. That's an early prediction for the 2024 NFL draft.
Hey, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network. How about that? That was from the Colin Cowherd show earlier today. Jim Harbaugh asked about J.J. McCarthy, and it is interesting to see, when this kid gets in front, in the dichotomy, really, of when J.J. McCarthy gets in front of the kid, gets in front of all these general managers, and Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, to me, needs a new PR team.
Agreed.
Because everything about Caleb...
He's got John Morant's PR team.
Everything about Caleb Williams, to me, says run away.
Yeah.
Run away from this guy. You're going to take him number 1, number 2 overall. You're going to pay him all this money, and he's going to be a worse version of Kyler Murray. That's what I feel like. Talking about, going home and crying to your mom, and
he speaks in the third person,
holding cats.
First person. I mean,
it's like I don't want to poo-poo his ability to express himself like that and all that stuff. But this is a men's league. This is a man's league. You know what I mean? And you've got to have people that want to follow you. You want to be like Dan Campbell, I feel. Like somebody that you're willing to follow, especially at that quarterback position. And I'm just not sure that Caleb Williams is that kind of guy.
Yeah, Caleb Williams is clearly an individual, and this isn't me coming at him. This is just talking and what's going on in the world. These kids are so highly recruited now. Like I told you, we talked about 12 years old, 13 years old. They're highly recruited. They're highly sought after. They're offered money now in high school. They make tons of money in college. They're arrogant assholes, which is an amazing thing. They've been put and they've been put in a situation to be that. And so when you operate like that, it starts to become who you are. And I think you're going to see this more and more and more. Guys like Caleb Williams, the attitude like that. I mean, everybody's kissing his feet. Like, see Lincoln Riley, moving him from Oklahoma, bringing him to USC, how much money he's made, talking about this, giving him all that. So he's kind of operating in the space that has created him, if you will. But to your point, it's tough because when you get in the NFL, like guys in that locker room are grown men. Guys don't want to, operate in that space or look at that. So you look at J.J. McCarthy and you look at who coached J.J. McCarthy. It was Jim Harbaugh. It's team, it's family, it's structure, it's standing on your own business, if you will. So you make a great point, and the point that you were talking about, you brought up a team. It's the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots. Look, Bill Belichick isn't there anymore. But they still want smart, intelligent people. They still want people that know how to play a team game. I mean, Gerard Mayo is the coach. Who did he get coached by? It's Bill Belichick. So this is the type of situation that could be for J.J. McCarthy. He's 6'4". He's going to run somewhere between 4'5" and high 4'4". Like, he has the arm. He's going to wow them with the intelligence. He's going to wow them with breaking down film and showing, like when he gets on that easy board, he's going to break that down and destroy it, man. He's going to operate very high at the combine. So somebody like New England, is this the guy you take? Is this someone that looks favorable to the organization? And Ryan, you brought it up.
He's moved out to California, JJ, and he was dating my kid's good friend. And they are now, now they're engaged to be married.
See?
So
Already.
she picked up and left. They went to California. Maybe he's betting on the Rams picking him. The more I think of the Rams, the more I think that, wow, can Sean McVay do something with this kid? On Caleb Williams' side, he's made it clear, I don't want to go to Chicago.
Yeah.
He's from D.C. Who picked second?
This is true.
The Washington Commanders.
But
he's trying to force them to skip over him. And if Washington and Chicago just switch spots, Chicago still could get a quarterback if they want. I still think they should keep Justin Fields, but they're not gonna.
Yeah.
And if they like another quarterback almost as much as him, they'll make Washington pay out their ass for that pick.
Yeah, he's in California because the QB coach that coaches the majority of the stud quarterbacks in the league. I think Lamar.
Okay.
He lives out in California. Lamar Jackson ended up moving out there last year as well before the season.
Okay.
So he was out there for like 2.5 months, or a month and a half working out with this guy. So that's why he's out there. But I mean, that's another thing, Ryan. He's engaged. He's getting married. So he's not gonna be out here chasing. You know what? He's going to be dialed in and focused into the organization.
And here's the thing with Williams, too. And I think this is a major red flag. And you can talk to me about the defenses all you want. If you're taking a guy that high, I want a winner. Caleb Williams has really never won a big game in his life. Not in college, not at Oklahoma, not in 2 years of USC. He never has. Never won a championship. I think that is a big red flag for me when you're talking about.
That's not fair, though.
A number one overall pick. Though. I understand, but at Baylor he scored 14 points, lost 27-14. Oklahoma State, 37-33. But it is a fact,
right?
You know what I mean? He's never really won a big game against a ranked opponent. Well, I mean, ranked opponent. But I'm just talking about championship. Lost to Kansas.
Right.
Lost to Oklahoma State. lost to Arizona. I mean.
But okay. Now I have to give you pushback on that.
That's fine.
I gotta give you pushback. Like legitimately, they made a team up in the span of the last 2 years. Lincoln Riley comes in, he hits the transfer portal, much like Deion did. Not that much, but he hit the transfer portal. He's trying to build the team in 1 year. He couldn't do it. The only reason why Caleb had a lot of success 2 years ago, who did they steal from Pittsburgh? Jordan Addison, who's now on the opposite side of Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. So when he had the talent, he made plays. They were 1 game away from getting to the playoffs 2 years ago. They had an awful team this year, had nobody to help him out. It's a tough spot. Meanwhile, J.J. McCarthy, he's finally won the big game. But what are his numbers in the big game?
Fair enough. And I
think
JJ
had 140 in the national championship.
I think what you're saying is completely valid.
Yeah.
I'm just, that part of it for me is just another aspect of a reason why I think you should be careful about Caleb Williams. For me, I'm just not a Caleb Williams guy. And again, there's a couple of, I'm not a Trevor Lawrence guy.
Yeah.
And I think I think a lot of people are starting to come to my side of things on Trevor Lawrence too. This is, by the way, and I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence isn't a decent type player.
He definitely regressed this year.
Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be the next Peyton Manning, the surefire, can't miss, multiple Super Bowl type guy. Caleb Williams is not being compared to some random first-round talent. Caleb Williams is being compared to Patrick Mahomes, the next Patrick Mahomes. So I just don't, maybe that's not a fair comparison, but at the same time, I just don't see him like that personally.
One of the guys that I really take his word at face value when he's like talking about players is Joe Klatt. Joe Klatt, especially when he's talking about quarterbacks. He was a quarterback at Colorado. He spends a lot of time watching film on quarterbacks. He has not only doubled and tripled and quadrupled and whatever 5 means and what I just did. He keeps talking about Caleb Williams. He keeps breaking the film down. He keeps talking about the throws, the plays that he makes, the things that he's seen out of him. So I just think when you get somebody of that level continuing to talk about what he can do, I think on the field, Ryan, there's no question of how good Caleb Williams is going to be. On the field, he is definitely going to be every bit of what they say he is. But the problem is, and I think this is where I can come to your side, it's off the field. It's the mentality. How's he going to be? Can he be a leader of men? Like, is he going to be, a prima donna? Is he going to be calling his mom after the first time a guy goes off on him? He's going to be trying to hold cats in press conferences. That's the part I do agree with you, because right now, that part I do not like.
Remember, there was guys in the NFL that have been passed up, drafted over. Dan Marino comes to mind. Dan Marino was devastated when the Jets passed up on him and they took Ken O'Brien. He actually asked his agent, "Who's Ken O'Brien?" And then a pick later, here comes the Dolphins. They ran the damn ticket up to Pete Rozelle, and the rest is history. There's guys like that. Maybe Caleb's one of them.
It's like Micah Parsons for Dan Marino. It's like they didn't draft him because he was allegedly smoking weed. Yeah, he was smoking weed. He admitted to it, and that's why they didn't draft him. But their fault. But I think it's a fun conversation. I think the more that comes out, the more you start seeing some progress with him training and in the combine. It's going to be fun to see what happens. You start to see moves being made, people trading up. So I definitely think he's going to be a damn good quarterback in the NFL. Now, where he goes, we can just battle on that.
Guys, we're going to be joined by the great Bill Keenist, Lions historian and NFL game rep. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anybody, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. Now, you get all of this just for $10 a month with no commitment. Yes, only $10. Remember, no matter where you are, there is always a Planet Fitness nearby with more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. Find your local Planet Fitness today to join or visit them online at planetfitness.com.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
At work and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Love Woodward sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Humble and hungry. Right there. That's where we are right now. Humble and hungry, and we're gonna respect all our opponents, and we're gonna strive that we're gonna earn their respect, and we're gonna earn our winning. Tough team, the resilient team, a relentless team, physical team is what we're gonna aspire to be. Don't let the powder blues fool you. That's what we're going to aspire to do.
Love that. Don't let the powder blues fool you. That was Jim Harbaugh at his introductory press conference yesterday. This guy looks alive again. I mean, he looks like he's having more fun talking about football than at any point over the last 7 years.
I'm happy for him, and I'm sad for me.
For us.
Well, 100%. What did Jeff Hadley say? Jeff Hadley said there's no time to coach football.
Right.
Jim Harbaugh's up there. He's worrying about recruits. He's worrying about NIL. He's worrying about scandals. He's worrying about NCAA. He's worrying about Tony Petitti and the Big Ten. He's worrying about Ryan Day and the hating things that they do at Ohio State. Like, he had to worry about all of that. When the hell are you coaching?
It's funny you say that, because one of the things he was talking about today, and I watched the interview with Colin, was he was talking about he's a football coach. Yeah. All he wants to do is coach football. And any of the other stuff he doesn't care about. Hey,
Isn't it crazy that he played in Michigan, coached in Michigan, played for the Chargers, nice coaching the Chargers.
Right, exactly.
He's building a staff right now, and that's exciting for him.
Absolutely.
I'm so geeked for him.
I know. Oh, here he is.
There he is.
Baby.
Okay.
Look at him. Lions historian, NFL game rep, long time in the Lions organization, over, 3 decades, Bill? At least.
Yeah, 36 years.
Unbelievable. Nearly 4. The great Bill Keenist joining us now.
What's up,
Bill,
Billy?
First of all, how are you doing?
Hey, Braylon.
What's going on?
I'm doing good.
So let me ask you about just totally off topic for a second.
Yeah.
When you see like Jim Harbaugh standing at the podium there in L.A., this guy has been a successful coach everywhere he's been. Is there any doubt in your mind? I mean, you've been around the NFL game for damn near four decades. Is there any doubt in your mind he'll be successful there?
No, none at all. I mean, how could there be? As a player, he was unique and driven and passionate and a winner, both at the collegiate and professional level. He came within about that far, leading the Colts to the Super Bowl. Remember that? Hail Mary against the Steelers.
It was caught.
It was, yeah, at Three Rivers. And he's been a winner everywhere since he retired from the game. He's unique. He's different. But he's not apologizing for that, and nor should he. And I really thought when he came back to Michigan after the 49er experience that would be his future college ball. But as Braylon, alluded to earlier, and I couldn't agree more, college game's a lot different now,
man,
with the NIL and all the stuff and the uncertainty of the future of the NCAA. And, I remember having a great conversation with Jim Caldwell when he was our head coach. And Jim was a head coach at Wake Forest for a number of years, for a long time. And he had been in the college game before at Penn State. But when he was at Wake Forest, it was even then it was in the 90s. But he told me how different it was and how much harder in many respects it was in college, because you weren't just a coach, just like you guys talked about. Jim Harbaugh's a coach. That's what he wants to do. And, you don't have to worry. I mean, you recruit a little when it comes to free agency, but that mostly comes down to salary cap availability and money. But it's so different, and unfortunately, it's getting to become more different. And now you're seeing some high-level college coaches, I think, now, but certainly in the future, they're going to be taking jobs in the NFL that in the past would have been a little surprising and a little unusual. But, college football, there's an uncertainty to it, let alone just the difference in time allotment and what you're able to do as far as your love, which is coaching.
Bill, I agree with you 100%. I definitely think he's going to succeed there. I mean, he already has a roster full of players that are going to be able to help him. And then I look at it like this. It's kind of like Pete Carroll when he left USC and went to Seattle, Jimmy Johnson when he left Miami, and when he went to the Cowboys. You have that leg up on recruiting because you know the players you've played against, you know the players from your team, and you know the guys around the country. So I agree. And also, I think coaches have more time to spend with their family when they're NFL coaches versus college coaches. So I think that will bode well. Just one question about Michigan. Are you surprised that Michigan botched, if you will, the contract situation with Jim Harbaugh? Because I think there was a part of Jim Harbaugh that wanted to stay.
You know what? In my time in pro sports, I have learned a lot about the whole contract, or I have experienced a lot when it comes to contracts. And a lot of times, what becomes public isn't the truth, okay? Sometimes it is, oftentimes it isn't. And I think if Jim Harbaugh truly wanted to stay at Michigan, he'd be there. And I'm not criticizing him for that. I think, there's perception and then there's reality. And I think Michigan was probably looking for a graceful exit from the relationship, and by suggesting that they did offer him, wanted to stay, whether that was true or not is hard to grasp at this point. Because I tell you, just looking, like you guys said, at his demeanor and how he's been acting since he got the job at San Diego, he looks like a guy that is incredibly happy and is right where he wants to be and wanted to be.
Bill, let me turn our attention to the Detroit Lions. I never stopped having goosebumps being on the field in San Francisco for the Lions, playing the historic 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Just as somebody who's been a part of it for a long, long time, how much admiration do you give to this organization and Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and Sheila and just for the ride that they went on? What an incredible run this was it not?
It was remarkable, and I don't think there's anybody inside or outside of the game 3 years ago that would have remotely predicted something like this. But, and I really believe it begins and ends with Dan Campbell and his approach, his honesty, his vulnerability, his transparency, whatever you want to call it. I mean, Braylon knows, my belief is players want coaches they can trust and that are real in every way. Players want coaches that will coach them hard. I think every great athlete wants to be coached hard, however you define that. And Dan has not hesitated to do that. And he is who he is. He's always been that way. He was that way as a player. I mean, he cut his professional teeth with Bill Parcells, who had a very unique style and a very unique approach. And Dan's been there, and he appreciates the player, what they go through on and off the field, all that goes into being a professional athlete. And one thing, Ryan and Braylon and Tom, that hit me a couple weeks ago, when you, especially with the reaction of the city and the fans locally, I mean, we've all heard the cliches, it's darkest before the dawn and a light at the end of the tunnel and whatever you want to use in this case. But go back to 2008, right? Lions, we didn't win a game, okay? Historic season, first team in NFL history go 0-16. And the city of Detroit was going through a similar reality with the economic downturn and, GM and Chrysler about to go bankrupt a year later. I mean, it was a bad time all around. But what happened in 08? We go without a win. We get the number one pick. Who do we pick? We pick Matthew Stafford. Okay. Guess what Matthew Stafford led to? The trade, right? And who did the Lions, who did Brad Holmes You talk about Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboy Herschel Walker trade. This is the trade.
Yep.
I mean, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, J-Mo, Laporta, Pascal. Holy crap, what a haul, right? Now, the other thing, so you can, and we always do this in sports. We try to connect the dots, even if they aren't there. But in this case, the dots were there. 08 led to the worst record, led to the number one pick, led to Matthew, who had a great career with us, won his Super Bowl after his trade in LA. But what did the Lions get? They got the foundation of their team. But even more importantly, perhaps, what did that 08 era lead to? Dan Campbell, who was signed by Matt Millen, to be a player in 06, was with the team for 3 years, and he was there in 08. He didn't play a lot. He was hurt, but he experienced it. And 3 years was long enough for him to get a total appreciation of the city and the fans and the mentality and the passion, right? And he never forgot that. And he often talked about, even back then, he recalls thinking, what a great place this would be to coach. And when the position opened up 3 years ago, he came after the Lions as much as they came after him. He wanted to coach here. And it's like a Hollywood script, but it's real. It's not fiction. It's true. And so there's a lot of things to look at. And I think, the way the city reacted, I mean, you saw it, guys. I mean, I was at the 2 home games for the NFL, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It was incredible. And it's unique to Detroit. I don't care what anyone says. There's only a couple cities and markets like ours, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, the blue collar, the Great Lakes, the Rust Belt, where we appreciate hard work because it's in our DNA, it's in our genes.
I'm glad you were
different.
there, Bill. I'm glad you were there. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to expound on that point a little bit too, because it meant so much to so many people. It meant so much to me. I took my dad to the game as a fan. You know what I mean? Working. Wow. I took my dad. We went to the Bucks game, and we were there as fans. And it got me to think. In 2002, when that building opened, I believe it was 02. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking to myself, and we just I remember my dad, like everybody saying, my dad just was sitting down in the chair, looking around at the stadium and all the people cheering. And it's like, this is the moment when this building opened up. This is what everybody envisioned. And we all remember when Sheila had her hands like that, up in the booth. And there was a moment, and we don't have a picture of that, but there was a moment she was standing up by herself, just admiring the building itself and the atmosphere that was created by that team and that organization. As somebody who had a hand in building that place and all of these years of the organization, how much pride did you take in that scene at Ford Field for those playoff games?
Very, very similar, Ryan. And, one of the best things for me, there are a couple things, but having my 2 sons there at the game, and they've grown up with the Lions. I mean, my oldest son, who's the head coach at Hawley High School now, he went to his first Lion game in Cleveland, by the way, Braylon, when he was 3 months old. 3 months old. And that's all they've ever known. And they've lived and died with the team, cheered and cried with the team. I remember after the Dallas playoff game that we all remember, and I got a call from and I always talk to my boys after the game when I was with the Lions. And I got a call from Billy. And he said, Dad, don't worry, I'll pay for it. I love you. And he hung up the phone. I'm like, well, they had a bunch of friends over, and we had a coffee table with pretty thick glass in it. And when they made that call, thank God there were pizza boxes all over it. He pounded it and shattered the glass. And it went a million pieces. He's lucky he didn't get hurt. But that's just what you grow up with. So I sensed that, and I've shared with a number of people a couple other things about that experience, the 2 playoff games. One was seeing all the former players there. It was it was incredible, and Braylon knows what it's like. I mean, seeing Barry, of course, and Lomas, Kevin Glover, Dre Bly, who's coaching with us now. I got to see Dre and Clover Quinn and Goster Cherilus. And I saw Rodney Pete the second week, and I swear, if you had seen us, you'd have thought when we noticed each other, it was up in the suite level, and we literally ran to each other. It was like two twins separated at birth. But you share that because you've gone through so much. You've gone through so much with those guys, and you love them. I mean, you do. You spend as much time when you're playing with your teammates and people in the organization as you do your own family. So seeing that and all them coming back. Sean Rogers came back.
Big baby.
Big baby. I mean, it was awesome. And then taking that feeling, and the other thing that was overwhelming to me, and I've sensed this a few times in my job with the NFL, not when I was with the Lions, because I would always leave the stadium so late after games. But walking out of that stadium after the LA game and the Buccaneers, the love, the joy, the tears, the cheers of all those fans, I'm getting goosebumps, man.
No
doubt. It's why we love sports. It's why the sports is so important to Detroit. We've seen it with the Pistons and the Red Wings and the Tigers. But we always have thought, I know Ryan and I have talked about this, if it ever happened with the Lions, look out. And we saw it was magical. And it was special. And, sports is the greatest unifier. What other entity in our world, in our lives, can bring that many people together?
Nothing.
And automatically your family. And it's
100%,
beautiful.
100%, Bill. I think music and sports are the great equalizers.
Exactly.
I got three things for you. I got a statement, I got a story, and I have a question. The statement is I agree with you 100%. When I was in Cleveland, nobody came to those Cleveland Browns games. None of the alumni will come back. But the one year we went 10-6 towards the end of the season, when there's playoff hopes, I start seeing Eric Metcalf. Jim Brown was on the sideline. He was working with the team as well.
Wow.
Clay Matthews Sr. was on the sideline. You start Brian Sipe. The Cardiac Kids, they come back on the sideline. It gives the fans energy because you're like, okay, the former players believe in our team that we got something here.
Yeah.
And then it gives the current players, they're like, oh, yeah, we got to put on because our boys are here. They're representing. The funny story is you mentioned Big Baby. He came to Cleveland after he left Detroit. So he was my team.
Yes, he did.
So that's my guy, man. I used to hang out with him. We had a package, for him in offense because he was that athletic. You're talking about a guy 335 pounds, 6'5", that could dunk, windmill, catch with one hand. Like, he was one of the freakiest athletes I think I've ever seen in my life. Question.
If he only gave a damn.
True.
Yeah.
This is very true. And he's very open and honest about that too. Here's a question. Now that you guys have roped me into this Detroit Lions fandom, I'm now a fan of the Detroit Lions. I found myself a little heartbroken this Monday. What are the Lions going to do now? Because, see, the easy thing was, as Ryan always talks about, they weren't spending any money last year. Jared Goff was the highest guy on contract. I think he made $33 million last year. Now you got to pay Panay. Now you got to pay Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now you got to extend Jared Goff, if you will. What are the Lions going to do in terms of keeping players? Like, how does that work this offseason? I'm invested.
Well, it's a harsh reality of success. When teams have the success that the Lions did this past year, the nation notices, and obviously the better players you have, the more they're going to be compensated. And I did a show after the game against San Francisco with our friends at WJR, and I said this may be Dan Campbell's most important coaching between now and the start of next season, because you have to realize, and Dan said it, and I don't know how you reacted to it, Braylon, but I was surprised, but I give him compliments because I've seen it. It's so real. When he said to the media half hour after the game, I just told our team we may never get back here. He's right. It's a different team every year. 20 to 30% of the roster changes. The schedule is going to be incrementally more difficult next year with a lot of primetime games. So you won't have the routine that coaches like, Sunday 1:00 games. And you're not going to sneak up on anybody, obviously.
Nope.
So it's going to be different. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be replicated because they have great young players. And I think that's the key. The roster is young. And so a lot of these guys don't know what they don't know. A lot of them are going to probably expect, oh, this is how it goes. We'll be back next year. No, that's where, work and coaching is going to play a big part. But you have people that are paid a lot of money to figure out how to get that, salary cap worked out. So it's the sum of the whole, not the sum of the parts.
Yeah.
One thing the team has going for them, thank goodness, we're in the rookie wage scale era. So, not to diminish what Braylon was able to do when he came out, but back in that era, when the Lions were drafting Stafford and Calvin and Dominic
Sue,
yeah, they were the highest players on the team each year. They hadn't played it down in the NFL. So pay the same amount of money, but pay to the vets. And that's what's happening now. So that's a little easier because you're paying for known performing commodity. But that's a hard thing to replicate, especially in today's NFL with, how much movement there is between teams and what have you. But there's no reason to believe it can't be done because of what Dan Campbell, the cultures he's created, and what he's instilled in that locker room.
Billy, he's probably talked to Bill Parcells already, and Parcells probably reminded him, hey, Dan, back in 1986, the Chicago Bears, the 85 Bears, beat our ass in the playoffs, shut us out. But the following year, we came back and beat John Elway and the Broncos to win that Super Bowl. I look at this Lions team on the same trajectory as that 85-86 Giants team. What's your take on that?
Right.
And you can go back in history here in Detroit. The Red Wings losing to the Devils, the Tigers losing in 67 and 83. It goes on and on.
It does. And there was a period in the 80s into the 90s where, at least with the NFC, almost every year the team that lost in the championship game made it to the Super Bowl the next year.
Yeah, Bears,
so it can
Giants,
definitely
49ers,
happen. Yeah. Redskins, it can definitely happen. Yeah, Washington lost to the Giants at Old Giants Stadium that game when
Buffalo
the winds were swirling like crazy, and they come back the next year and win the Super Bowl. So it can happen, and I think having Dan, who you're right, Tom, Bill Parcells is a great mentor and advocate and somebody that speaks from experience, and Dan will definitely use all that wisdom that he has available to him through coaches and former teammates and players. But, he's just done a remarkable job of keeping the team tight. And I think what you'll start to see, and I think you started to see some of it, and, Braylon, he was one of these guys and he saw it. But when you have the veterans becoming coaches in that locker room, and when they start demanding what their teammates do, and that ship just gets tightened and it gets harder and it gets better. So you foster that environment where players are helping guide the young guys and keeping them straight, then you got a chance for a long run of success.
Yeah, you're not lying at all, man. I remember, whenever the players can police themselves, whether it was in high school, whether it was in college, it was in NFL. I remember my senior year in Michigan, I'll never forget, we lost to Notre Dame, second game of the year. They were horrible. I don't know how we lost to that freaking Notre Dame team. Actually, I do know, but that's for another conversation. Yeah. But, guys were going out, after training camp. Guys were hanging out. Guys were partying. Guys were kind of goofing off the first week of the season. We won. And then the second week, once we lost to Notre Dame, we didn't play that. We had a players-only meeting, and we started policing ourselves. And I started to notice when we were policing ourselves, Lloyd didn't say as much. And when your coach doesn't have to say as much, you guys operate better. Here's a quick question for you on Dan Campbell, though. We're not going to talk about whether the call was right or wrong. We're past that. Who cares? It's water under the bridge almost, I think. Is there a conversation that Dan Campbell has with his staff, or maybe his close staff, maybe Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn? We know how he feels about Calvin Shepard, to where he's telling those guys like, hey, maybe next time, like if it's a moment, if it's a moment like this, don't be afraid to go against the grain, or don't be afraid to speak up. Is that conversation being had, you think, by this coaching staff and Dan Campbell?
I would think so, and I would hope so, because I think every head coach needs that person. Needs that staff member. And I believe the great coaches want that. They want somebody they trust, and they want somebody they know their agenda is my agenda to win. They don't want yes people. I'll tell you, and Ryan will remember this, I think. I know Maz will. But remember the game in 1999 when the Lions, we had just beat the Rams, and Kurt Warner, greatest show on turf, to go 6-2, had a bye week. And then we go to Arizona, and Arizona was average at best. They jump up. They got a 10-point lead with about 3 or 4 minutes to go, and they put the ball on the ground. Terry Fair recovers the fumble.
Oh, my God,
takes it for a touchdown, right? So now we're down So now we're down by 4 points.
This is Bobby Ross, right? Is this Bobby Ross and Charlie Batch?
Do, guys?
This is Charlie Batch,
what
right?
What did Bobby Ross do?
He went for 2.
What did Bobby Ross do?
He went for 2. Yep.
And it was inexplicable.
Yep.
And there was one coach, which is sad. There was one coach. He was the assistant special teams coach. God rest his soul. He passed away a few years ago, much too young. Stan Kwan.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
And Stan went to Bobby and said, Coach, are you sure you want to do this? And people thought he was going to get fired for like insubordination. He should have got a bonus for that.
Hell yeah.
But, you know, he was the only one that was and didn't worry about any repercussions for himself. He was worried about the team. And then what happened? We didn't convert the 2-point. So now we get the ball back predictably, right? It was Gus Frerotte actually in that game. Gus Frerotte. And we drive all the way down the field, but now we need a touchdown, not a field goal. We got Jason Hansen, and we lose.
I wish we had Jason Hansen today.
Yeah, and it was just if Bobby Ross had somebody that he would listen to, or could have been that guy, you know, chances are that we win that game, and who knows. But that
99 team, that 99 team, though, I mean, that was like the epitome of 90s Lions football. Started the year 6-2, and I think he ended up 8-8.
8-8.
Yeah.
That was Lions were good for a good 8-8.
Yeah, and we went to Washington for the playoff game, and I think Corey Schlesinger was our starting running back.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We didn't have anybody.
I don't coach that stuff. I don't coach that stuff.
Did he break his neck?
Oh my God.
Didn't he hit his head and the locker broke his neck?
I'll tell you, Bobby Ross left here like a babbling guy. He came here so smart. He left here like a babbling buffoon, the poor guy.
Yeah, that took a toll on him. But yeah, I think Dan. I think everybody. I mean, in life, let's not get philosophical, but we all need people like that in our lives, let alone in our jobs. And there's great wisdom in many counselors. Okay, that's biblical. That's not me. And there is in situations like that, especially critical situations like that.
Hey, Bill, do you have any involvement? I'm sorry, we're up against the top of the hour here. I'd love to get you in studio, man. We could talk for we can talk plan with Maz. We'd love to talk to you for 2 hours. Shoot the breeze about the NFL season, the upcoming draft. What's next, do you think, for the Lions? And take a look back at some of the great Lions teams of all time. How about that?
Absolutely. I love you guys, man. I'd love to do that.
We love you,
man.
Well,
My mom loves you as well, man. She's
Hey, Billy.
We love you too.
Bill, my buddy Dan, our buddy Dan Gutowski gives you a shout out.
Guts.
Dan loves you.
Oh, Dan.
Guts loves you.
Oh, the good old days.
Guts.
Yeah,
Love Guts.
absolutely.
All right, Bill, thanks so much, my friend. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you, B.
All right, guys. Hey, coming up next, we've got some very sad breaking news that we got about 15 minutes ago during the interview with Bill Keenist, and we've all been trying
I'm despondent.
We're looking at each other like, oh, man, we're so heartbroken by this news. We'll share that with you next.
Also, I got something. It's interesting watching the different energy at the Pro Bowl. We'll talk about that.
No doubt about it. And a fill-in-the-blank Friday as well. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. It's the weekend. Do yourself a favor and get yourself some great meat.
Chop House uses Fairway.
That's right. Absolutely. Some of the best steakhouses in the country use Fairway Packing Company. That's right. And now you don't have to go to one of those fancy restaurants. You can just go right to Fairway. Hey, maybe it's a great Valentine's Day plan as well. Get your meat at Fairway, and then, of course, cook it at home. Make your own romantic meal right then and there with the meat, the beef that the great chefs use in the area. Fairway Packing is located the Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods. If you can't make it there in person, they ship next day. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Hey, guys.
How you doing, man?
Doing good, man.
Good, buddy. Welcome to the
Your
show.
pet will do great as well.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, buddy. Your pet's going to do great as well if you take care of business and get him over to Premier Pet Supply. PremierPetSupply.com, Michigan's best pet store, family-owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available. They even have nutritionists on call if you have any kind of questions about your pet's needs. They have curbside delivery as well. Give them a check out. Try them right now. Do not settle for less. Give your pet the best. PremierPetSupply.com.
Hey guys, let me tell you something about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men as well. There's over 100 locations nationwide. There is one near you. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and enter for your chance to win a suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. All you have to do is come on into Lady Jane's, get your haircut. A precision haircut. Hot lather, neck shave, scalp massage. Be pampered by the best. Absolutely. Walk into Lady Jane's anytime. It's wicked awesome. Open 7 days a week. Man, I hate to open up hour number 2 with this news, but we are devastated to learn that Carl Weathers has passed away at the age of 76. We don't have any more information than that, but Carl Weathers
turned down on Tuesday, his family said.
Yeah, Carl Weathers, the great character in the Rocky franchise, Apollo Creed. Just incredible stuff. He was just here in Detroit at Comic-Con a couple of months ago.
I just saw him on a commercial with Rob Gronkowski yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, yo, like Rocky, we all feel the same way about Rocky. I mean, all of us. Rocky IV is my favorite movie of all time. I've watched that movie like literally over 100 times. I used to watch it before every game. Apollo was, he was such a great character, man. I mean, my favorite line from Apollo, man, and I guess it makes sense today, it was in Apollo 3 when Rocky's BSing in the gym. He's trying to jab. Damn it, Rock, what are you doing? He said, man, we'll get it tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. That was my favorite line that Apollo ever said. There is no tomorrow. And unfortunately, there is no tomorrow for Apollo. But he lives on in my heart, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. What a specimen he was.
Here's the quote. I'm sorry, man. Let me just read this. We're deeply saddened to announce the passing of Carl Weathers. His family said in a statement, he died peacefully in his sleep on Thursday, February 1st, 2024. Carl was an exceptional human being who lived an extraordinary life through his contributions to film, television, the arts, and sports. He has left an indelible mark and is recognized widely across generations. He was a beloved father, grandfather, brother, partner, and friend. Weathers played Apollo Creed in the first 4 movies in the series. He also starred opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator and Adam Sandler in Happy Gilmore.
Remember the infamous hands?
Yeah.
And when they clasped hands, man.
Tom Masway, I know he and this film meant a lot to you as well.
It's my favorite movie.
Yeah.
It's my favorite two
Serious
characters,
movie,
Rocky and Apollo. I'm devastated. My kids wrote me, Dad, Apollo died. They texted me. These are my girls. They know what it meant to me. And, you know, I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words. It sucks.
76 is way too young.
Way too young, especially for a guy that looked like him. Sucks, man.
You know, one of the great stories of Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers auditioning for the part of Apollo Creed in Rocky. You know, nobody knew who Sylvester Stallone was at this time. So in auditioning for it, he is in the ring with Sylvester Stallone. And, you know, Sly was a little rough around the edges. And Carl Weathers comes in, and he has a bad audition. It's a bad audition. He doesn't think he's going to get the part. Then he looks at, I don't know if it was John Avildsen or one of the other, Robert Chartoff, and says, you know, look, if you give me a real actor, I'll be much better.
Oh my God!
So
really?
Yeah, he said that about Sly Stallone, and it's right then and there. Sly said, "You're the guy.
I love that.
You're the guy. Yeah. You're who I want." He had no idea that Sylvester Stallone
had wrote it. It was his script.
Had wrote it and was Rocky. He just thought it was some Joe Schmo
in
there, like doing
That's
the.
great.
Isn't that a great
Just
story?
a sidebar on Rocky, guys. And I know you guys are all young in the chat. Most of you are. Rocky and Apollo, in reality, is Chuck Wepner, the Bayonne bleeder, and Muhammad Ali. This is what really the story is about. People will say, there's a lot of people that say that, there was Rocky Graziano, Rocky Marciano. No. It was Chuck Wepner.
Jake LaMotta.
Chuck Wepner's the Bayonne bleeder from Jersey. All he did was bleed. But he knocked Muhammad Ali on his ass and went the distance with him. Some people say he stepped on his foot and Ali lost his balance. I do think that is partly true. Yeah. If you see it, you can see a little bit of Ali being off balance. But he went the distance, and that is the whole Rocky movie. Thank God that Sylvester Stallone made this movie.
Here you go, man. For all the young kids out there, just go to go to YouTube and look up Rocky and Muhammad Ali at this 1977 Oscars. Yeah. Because remember, Muhammad Ali, he snuck behind him and messed around a little bit.
When Stallone was getting his award.
100% is proof. So, yeah, dang, man, that movie is, I'm watching it tonight, bro.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. What were we going to watch?
We were going to watch Groundhog Day.
We were going to watch Groundhog Day. It's got to be Rocky.
Yes, it's Rocky. And I feel like between now and Monday when I see you guys again, you got to have watched all 4. Yeah. I can stop at 5.
By the way, for Chuck Wepner, the story, he has a documentary out. It's called The Real Rocky.
Yep.
So yeah, that's
he was a liquor salesman in Jersey.
That's a pretty good one as well.
Didn't somebody play him recently? Maybe like 3-4 years ago.
There's a movie called Chuck.
Yeah, somebody decent.
I liked it.
Yeah, somebody decent.
I forgot who played him, but he played him very well.
Was it Miles Teller? No, it wasn't Miles Teller. It was
I watched Chuck Wepner twice in my own neighborhood fight at the Embassy Theater, which was like our theater like on Bergen Line Avenue. I got to watch him. It was like watching the first Rocky fight against who did he fight in the first fight? Rock?
Spider Rico.
Spider Rico. He's a bum.
You know,
He's a bum. You're a bum.
You're a bum. It's a waste
We're
of life.
watching it tonight. The thing about the Chuck
What
Webner
up, Joe
story,
Majors? Thanks
that
for
was
the donation.
Fight. I think the Chuck Webner fight was a fight that he had to fight to then fight Frazier.
Oh,
Joe
God.
Frazier.
Joe Frazier's in Rocky 1.
He is, exactly. Yeah, that's all
You're
time.
next, Joe.
You've been ducking me, Joe.
You're next, Joe.
You've been ducking me, Joe.
You're next, Joe.
Watching it tonight.
What a great movie. You know, and it's a true underdog story, you know. And
It makes you
everybody,
believe.
if you look at the characters in that movie, whether it's Rocky or Apollo, Adrian or
Ivan
Paulie,
Drago.
Tony, I'm just talking about in Rocky 1.
The main ones.
You know somebody like that.
Yeah, this is real.
No doubt.
You know somebody like that.
Oh, my God.
Paulie's my favorite. He's my secret favorite character.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Oh,
I can't
God.
hold me no more.
I don't sweat you. I don't sweat you.
Oh, my God. Guys,
Can I have a job?
rest in peace, rest in heaven. The great Carl Weathers.
Rest in power.
We'll take a break, come back. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday. I think we've got some good questions,
Whoever
too.
put this
You
together
did-
did
you
a hell of
outdid
a job.
yourself.
You're welcome.
Like, this
You're
is
You
amazing.
said you outdid yourself.
You did this, Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Put a little work in. You know what
See,
time it is.
I'll answer.
Here we go.
That's my job.
But first, the
Calling
rest
me
is
out again.
from Swiss.
Calling me out again.
I am not.
It wasn't.
I am not.
Do you guys have football on the brain like us? Well, of course you do. This college football season was amazing, and there's only one game left in the NFL, the big game. But you know another big game that you can't sleep on as well, and that's shopping your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with the pros at Swiss Insurance. They cover us here at WSN, and they should be covering you as well. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com, or as always, give them a call at 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Woodward Sports Network.
Thanks, Major.
Yeah, thanks, Major. Carl also played Action Jackson.
Yes, he did.
A detective from Detroit. We
Yes, he
appreciate
did.
you.
With,
absolutely.
With Vanity, by the way. Vanity, man. Vanity was so
man.
You know, I used to have an Action Jackson collection.
Did
they
you
were
really?
They were like G.I. Joe
He
dolls.
did, you're right.
And
he had the tuxedo on with the white shirt.
Yep, he had all the different costumes.
The
He had
red
Batman,
shirt with
but
the
he had a
blue
Batman costume. He had a Spider-Man. He would turn into all these superheroes. It was called Captain Action,
Okay,
not
Captain
Action Jackson. Captain Action.
Side note, quick before we get into Philly
Played
Blank
with dolls
Friday,
back in the day.
Ryan, playing in the Pro Bowl before. Obviously, the Pro Bowl weekend's going on right now. They started the events. I think today they did the dodgeball, or maybe last night, whatever.
They did stuff last night. I didn't know
that's
what they were
it
doing.
was.
but-
Dodgeball and some other stuff. When you play, like when you go to the Pro Bowl, you can tell the people that are playing for, like, who are happy to be in the Pro Bowl and who are used to just being in the Pro Bowl and not the next week, versus the people that are like fighting for the Super Bowl. Because I was watching the highlights and I recognized his energy when I was with the Browns, I was just happy to be in the Pro Bowl. I knew we weren't going to Super Bowl or anything like that, so I was so excited. Such great energy. Meanwhile, like Peyton was moping the whole time he was there. Like Ben Roethlisberger moping the whole time he was there. Ray Lewis, like these guys are fighting for the Super Bowl. I was watching the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. Oh, they're living it up. They're having a dream. Oh man, that was God. They're having a great time. Meanwhile, Lions and other players close. They're like, yeah, hey, all right, good, little smiles. It's funny, the energy. All you gotta do is look, and you can tell what players play on teams that are contenders versus players that play on teams that are just happy to be in the NFL.
It's fantastic.
That's funny. That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right, guys, JB, give me a little beat here. We're going to play Fill in the Blank Friday. You guys ready for it?
I love it.
It's been a minute.
All right.
I'm excited.
First question.
It's winter time and the air conditioning's on. Let's go.
Oh, turn it off.
I'm okay.
I actually didn't put that on today.
We got to turn it off because the noise is going to drive me nuts.
All right.
1 second.
I'm answering this question. I turn it off.
Okay, good. Blank was the best Lions draft pick in the 2023 NFL draft.
Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta, and the reason why I say Sam Laporta, look, I love Brian Branch. Jameer Gibbs is outstanding. Tight ends have a longer shelf life. So I look at it from that standpoint. You see what he did? He's going to be able to do that for another 10 years or so. With running backs, I don't know. So I'm going to say Laporta.
Maz?
I'll say Jameer Gibbs because he's my favorite Lion. I do love Sam Laporta, don't get me wrong. But this kid is going to be the best running back in the NFL this season coming up.
I'm going to say Sam Laporta as well. I just think what he did for the passing game is on third downs in the red zone. And the thing that makes this a great question
is 20
is
games.
You have to think about it. Yeah. Whether it's Brian Branch or Jameer Gibbs or Sam Laporta, this team is not NFC North champions without any of them. Collectively, it was an incredible draft. But if you have to pick one guy that was a extreme difference maker, it was Sam Laporta to me.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, 100%. And then also too, I mean, I know I give him a hard time. We still don't know what the development process of Jack Campbell could be.
He got a lot of snaps.
So Jack Campbell can be a guy.
He got playoffs too.
So it goes to what you said, Ryan. Like the fact that you got to sit there and think about it. Like, yeah.
Hey, listen, this rookie class, they went through their paces this year. They played to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
How many rookie classes can say that? I say none.
Sam Laporta started.
There's usually a wall.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta started in 20 games this year. Let that sit in.
He caught 9 balls on Sunday.
He had 90 yards.
Yeah.
He had 90 yards the week before.
Guys, question number 2. The one position the Lions absolutely have to address in the offseason is
cornerback and linebacker. I picked 2.
One.
I'm sorry. Cornerback. Absolutely cornerback.
D-line. I need a guy to help Aiden Hutchinson on the other side. I need a defensive lineman.
You can't give up 450 yards passing each game. Like you cannot have every wide receiver who's number 1 on their team have 180 or more yards. Got to get a DB.
I am in lockstep with no one on this. I think you have to get a defensive end. Did you see how much better? Defensive line.
I said like Aiden Hutchinson. What does he play?
DN.
I think
I consider the whole D line one
I
unit.
think defensive line is like defensive tackle to me.
Okay, that's fine.
Here's why I'm gonna say DN specifically. Because my eyes cannot unsee the difference that Montez Sweat made for the Chicago Bears in the second half.
Yeah.
That to me is something that I could see.
It's a good one.
He made every single player on the Bears defense better when he came. He made the defensive line better. He made the linebackers better. He made the cornerbacks better. That one player made such an impact because of his ability to get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say they absolutely have to go get somebody opposite Aiden Hutchinson and just spend money there on the defensive end position, and they'll make everybody better.
What did they give up for Sweat?
A second round.
Second round.
That's it?
Second round pick.
Second round and $100 million.
Essentially, because they would have to pay him.
So they did sign him too.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Washington has $80 million in the bank still, and they got a second-round pick. Is that second-round pick going to be any better than Sweat? I doubt it.
My initial thought was to go with you.
Yeah.
Because I think obviously, look, they for the purposes of the argument, we only can pick one.
Yeah.
But they absolutely have to get a cornerback.
100%.
Right? I mean,
DL, DB, OL.
Right.
There you go.
But 100%, and because we're all right, and I just think you get a cornerback. Well, if somebody's covered, not wide open, quarterback has to pat the ball a little bit. When quarterback pats the ball, here comes Aiden Hudson. Here comes Lee McNeil. Here comes but they need the defense. Defense. Let's just say that.
No doubt. All right, guys.
This one's easy.
The team that will be the biggest challenge to the Lions in the NFC next year will be. Okay, Maz, you said easy.
Come on, it's the Pack.
Oh.
It's the Packers.
Green Bay Packers.
Really?
First of all, they beat the Lions last time they played. They almost beat the 49ers. They handled the 49ers. They are in the same division as us. So before we worry about getting to the playoffs, we got to see them twice. So that's why I agree with Maz. It's the
Okay,
Pack.
fair enough. I was going to say the 49ers. They're in the Super Bowl this year. Will they win it? I've got Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes over Brock Purdy, but next year is another year where you get Brock Purdy on a rookie deal. So I think not only a rookie,
they're going to pay him.
But not only a rookie deal, but a 7th round rookie deal. So I don't know when they will pay him
This year. He's got them to the NFC Championship last year, Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Like if I'm him,
Fair enough.
and I don't want to be that guy, I'm not going to camp.
Fair enough. Those are the two teams, though, Green Bay and San Francisco, would you say, at this point?
100%.
Okay.
Brad Hendricks says Green Bay's trash. He ain't worried about it.
Okay, very good.
I don't know what he's watching.
Next question.
Clearly not the NFL.
You cannot say Jim Harbaugh in this, okay? I'm not allowing Jim Harbaugh because I think we would all say Jim Harbaugh.
Yep.
For this next question. Of this coaching cycle, blank will have the most success. And let me just tell you the coaches here. Raheem Morris of the Falcons, Dave Canales of the Panthers, Gerard Mayo of the Patriots, Antonio Pierce of the Raiders, Brian Callahan of the Titans, Mike McDonald of the Seahawks. Those are the coaches. Dan Quinn of the Commanders. Who would you say will have? Oh, here's a good list if you need to look up. Thank you, Pete. Great work,
Pete.
buddy. Who would you say right now would have the most success? You cannot say Jim Harbaugh.
Dan Quinn.
Okay.
I go Dan Quinn. We talked about it yesterday. Look, man, I love that his players love him. It's the same thing you're saying with Dan Campbell. The players love him. They're dialed in. I think he's going to be a transparent coach. Also, he's got the number 2 pick. He can get his quarterback. He can get an offensive coordinator. I think it's them. And also, they're in the division. Every year, you say it, Ryan and Maz, another team wins that division dating back, 13 seasons or so? Dan Quinn.
I'm going to say Antonio Pierce. And the reason I'm going to say him is, first of all, he's got a half a season under his belt. His team loves him. He has gotten himself Marvin Lewis to help coach that team with him. And he brought in another defensive coordinator. Let's look at my notes for a second. Antonio Pierce with the Raiders.
All right, hold on.
Who else did? Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator. Marvin Lewis, assistant head coach. I believe that the Raiders are going to be making a hell of a comeback this year. I'm going to say Antonio Pierce.
Can I just say
we'll have the silver and black back?
Can I just say 3 things? No, not 3 things, but just 3 people. You ready? Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and Andy Reid are all in that same division. That's going to be tough sledding.
Yeah.
I don't care who's on your coaching staff.
Right.
They ain't those 3. It's going to be
Facts.
tough.
So I'm going to go a little bit different here, and I'll give you my reason. Will you put that back on the board? The coaching. Never mind. I got it right here. I was just going to do it for optics. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go with Brian Callahan of the Titans, and I'll tell you why. I think of the listed coaches right now, Brian Callahan has the best quarterback of any of the teams. I think Will Levis is better than anybody the Patriots currently have, better than anybody the Raiders currently have, better than anybody the Falcons currently have, better than anybody the Commanders currently have, and so forth. Better than anybody that the Panthers currently have. So a coach only wins if he's got a quarterback. And the best quarterback of that bunch is Will Levis.
I agree with everything, but April 24th, the Washington Commanders will no longer have the worst quarterback. They'll get the number 2 pick. So do you stand on that with the number 2 pick?
If it's J.J. McCarthy, I swear.
No,
I swear I'm not a Drake May guy.
Okay.
I'm not a Jaden Daniels guy.
That's fair.
And I think that's why Ben Johnson pulled his name out of the hat. Because he's not comfortable with the quarterbacks coming out of this draft.
Do you see what
personally?
Do you see what Callahan did?
No.
He hired his dad. Bill Callahan, the best offensive line coach, one of the best ever, was with the Browns. The Titans said,
Wasn't he with the Raiders? Didn't he
took
take
him
the Raiders
he was
to the
he was
Super
a head
Bowl?
coach with them.
Yeah.
But the Titans asked the Browns, can you release Callahan so he could coach with his son? And Cleveland said, go ahead. You have our blessings.
Oh, that's great.
He is the first guy
Cleveland
to hire
did something right.
to hire his father. First ever son hiring a father in NFL
That's
history.
pretty awesome.
Isn't that great? And the Browns, I tip my hat to them.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the first time you've heard that phrase.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to the Browns. Look, I love Bill Callahan. He was on the staff when I was with the Jets. He used to have these film sessions where he would show the best blocks in the game. I used to try my damnedest to be on that tape, man, because he was funny. He was super cool. He was a super chill guy, but he gets excited. You know, he's short, mild-mannered, but he gets in there and starts talking about them linemen. And I was like, whoa, this is not the same guy. How did he change
Isn't
like
that something?
Great guy.
Hey, guys, let's play the second half next.
Yes.
Okay, let me do a couple of business things here.
Got to pay the bills.
That's right. Let me first tell you about Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house and tells the bad guys one thing:
stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Winning is a habit. So is listening daily to Woodward Sports. We're glad you're a winner, and thanks for listening.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 55 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC offers the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, if you are looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want, all under one umbrella, all GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them. All right, gang, having a little fun here on a Friday. We are continuing along with our Fill in the Blank Friday segment. The beat continues. Okay, so I've got 4 more questions here, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for this one?
Let's go.
You are rooting for blank in the Super Bowl. Not who you think is going to win. You are rooting for
Kansas City Chiefs. I want Lamar. I want Lamar. That's where my head's still at. Pause. I want Patrick Mahomes to win because I'm having this conversation about who's the best player of all time, who's the best quarterback. He wins another Super Bowl. Now you really can be valid with that. And by the same token, I don't want the 49ers gaining any momentum. I think the 49ers win the Super Bowl. That momentum that they gain going into next year, it will be unreal. Like the Lions, like you said, Ryan, they're the odd man out in the NFC. So I think if the 49ers win, that gives them momentum that the Lions don't need them to have.
I really don't care, but I will take the Niners. And the reason being, first of all, I love the NFC. Second of all, if the Niners win, week 1, Detroit Lions at San Francisco 49ers on NBC.
If the Chiefs win, the LA Chargers at the Chiefs.
You're right. You are right.
Right? So
you are right.
Yeah.
Or the Ravens.
I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I'm rooting for the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes is currently the best that ever do it. And I think the league, you can talk to me about the 49ers all you want and all this stuff, but the league, I think, needs that dynasty. Anytime a league has somebody clearly at the top, it was the Patriots for the longest time. You just get an opportunity. Everybody is gunning for that team. Once you have a collective team up there by themselves at the top, I think it's only good for the league if Patrick Mahomes wins. I think it's only good for the league if the Kansas City Chiefs win. So I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
I think also, too, right now when we have the conversation about Andy Reid.
It's another great name.
I think you give him 3 Super Bowls. Now you can have real conversations about him. Right now people are like, he's got 2. He has Patrick Mahomes. You win 3, and the way they run it this year, more so defense, I think Andy Reid now is in that conversation. He deserves to be in one of the best of all time.
I'm going to put up this this next question. As I'm going through it, though, I'm going to ad-lib this question, okay? My initial question for those that are doing audio only are, Usher was a blank choice for the halftime show. How about this? I'm gonna change it to Usher will give a blank performance at the halftime show. Usher will give a blank performance at the halftime show.
Amazing. We're excited to see him at halftime. Excited to see him. He's been in Vegas in a residency now for the better part of 2 years, and he's performed each night. He's knocked it out of the park. I think he's great. He has a catalog that dates back to 1994, 95 when his first CD came out. He's got hits, man. He's got hits with a bunch of different people, too. He's got pop hits. He's got R&B hits. He's got some hits, some rap R&B mixes and things like that. Usher's going to crush this show. I'm excited.
Maz?
He's a great entertainer. I think he's going to be terrific. He's likable. He's got great music.
But you still think he's a little underwhelming?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. That's fair.
I was completely underwhelmed at the selection of Usher for the halftime show. Yeah. But as we get closer to it, and you start hearing the hit here, and the hit here, the hit here, and the hit here, I'm going to say that Usher is going to give an epic performance at the halftime show, and that has taken me a long time to say because I have been completely. I thought it should have been some sort of
Taylor Swift.
No, not even Taylor Swift. I thought it should have been some sort of Tom Jones or legit Las Vegas,
true.
Elvis, Wayne Newton, Elvis impersonator.
Yeah, that might have been cool.
A melody or what do you call
Crooners?
Like a bunch of different guys.
A celebration of Vegas.
Right,
like a harmony.
Listen, just a side note. I've been to a few Super Bowls. These were the ones I've watched. Super Bowl 33, Atlanta and Denver. I saw Gloria Estefan, Stevie Wonder, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. That was that one. Super Bowl 35 in Tampa, which I don't really want to talk about. That was Raymond James Stadium. That was Ray Lewis.
That was Ray
beat
Lewis.
The Giants. Aerosmith and NSYNC.
I remember
Super Bowl 40 here in Detroit. The Stones.
Rolling Stones.
The Stones. Super Bowl 48 in Jersey. I got to see my favorite, Bruno Mars.
Bruno was great.
Bruno Mars.
Bruno's done 3 Super Bowls.
Let me tell you,
It's
2 years ago
fantastic.
when Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg,
50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, Eminem.
Yeah, that was the most epic of all epic performances. You will never get another performance like that. That was a Super Bowl halftime show.
Which one?
The Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, Eminem. That one was like
that's
unbelievable.
That's my third favorite. That's my third
Super
favorite.
Bowl 41 was Prince in the Rain.
And that's my favorite.
There you go.
I was there too. Prince and Michael Jackson are my favorite too.
There you go.
And then that Dr. Just what it meant. It was L.A. It was them. You know what they mean to L.A. I agree with you on that one. Right?
All right, here we go. Michigan made the blank choice in hiring Sharon Moore as head coach. Michigan made the blank choice in hiring Sharon Moore as head coach.
The only choice. And that's why I stick with it. They made the only choice. Look, DeBoer was the only guy out there that I would have wanted. Maybe Dan Lanning, who was at Oregon. Outside of that, didn't care. Sark wasn't leaving Texas. There's not a lot of guys out there. And Sharon Moore, he is immersed in what Michigan has been the last 3 years. He's immersed in these players. He's immersed in the culture. And I believe you still can get some recruits because they understand he went to Happy Valley and won that game. He coached against Ryan Day here last year, won that game. So I think he was the only choice in this moment.
Let me say this right now. I'll say right choice. He was the right choice right now for the head coaching job at Michigan because, as he has shown, nobody's leaving. I think one guy left.
Yep.
Nobody's decommitted. Nobody. So that appears.
Sure seems like it.
It sure seems like it was the
right.
right choice. And by the way, he did announce today, the University of Michigan has announced that the offensive coordinator is Kirk Campbell, who is the quarterback's coach previously under Jim Harbaugh. So Kirk Campbell will take those duties over as offensive coordinator and likely be the play caller.
May I play a Sharon Moore cut for you?
Please.
Sharon Moore yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. What kind of coach is he going to be here at Michigan?
How have you dealt with the transition from Harbaugh to you? How have you addressed it with the players? And you're obviously out on the road recruiting. What type of questions are you being asked about your philosophies as opposed to Coach Harbaugh's?
Yeah, the biggest thing people want to know is, like, how am I going to run the program compared to Coach? I'm going to run it my way, and you know, we're still going to be tough. We're still going to be smart. We're going to be dependable. We're going to be relentless in everything we do, continue the enthusiasm. The energy for me is a big piece of it. I want to be someone that the kids can rely on. They can be a vessel for, be very open with them. You know, my philosophy in coaching is I coach hard, but I love harder. So they're going to feel that. So, you know, the program and how we've done it and how we've built it is going to be the same. There's going to be bits and pieces that is me. I'm going to be me. I can't be Coach. Don't want to be Coach. Coach is his own person. I love him. I got mad love for him and always will and respect him. And I've learned so much from him. But I'm going to run the program my way.
There you have it.
It's the first time I heard Sharon Moore speak that I liked it.
Yeah. I liked what he said.
I love what he said there. Like when he spoke at the press conference last Saturday, didn't necessarily.
He was soft-spoken.
I was underwhelmed in that moment when everybody makes fun when he cried against Penn State. I was like, I don't know about that. But right there, you see what he said. He said, "My way." It's the first thing you said. You can tell that he's making it a point to let people know. This is no longer Jim Harbaugh's University of Michigan. I'm going to run it my way. But he also made the point to go back and say, hey, look, what we put, he said, look, I love Coach, but basically this is my show. What we've put in place, what Michigan has been, we're going to continue to do that. A lot of energy, a lot of love. This right here, this was a dynamite interview for him, and this is a check for him.
Okay, guys, last one. I think this is a good question.
Easy answer.
You ready?
Easy answer.
Who will win more games next year? Michigan or the Chargers?
They're 2,000 miles away. That's my answer.
Michigan or the Chargers?
Chargers. I'm going Chargers. The Chargers already have players in place. They just had a horrible coach. They had a horrible culture. They got, if you look at that roster, you think you'll be looking at a Pro Bowl roster. The players that they have. I'm going with the Chargers.
You know who he's looking at already? Saquon Barkley.
He's already
looking at
It'd be a perfect
Barkley.
player for his offense, wouldn't it?
100%.
Chargers will win double digits. I don't know if Michigan will with that schedule.
Chargers 10-11, Michigan 8-9.
Yep, sounds about right.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say the Chargers too, just because I was thinking 8-4.
Okay.
And could the Chargers get to 9? So we'll see.
Yeah, I think Michigan.
9-3.
9-3.
Okay, 9-3.
I Maybe 9. I mean, maybe 9 to 10. Because, I mean, it's what? Oregon doesn't have a quarterback.
We can lose to
lost
Texas
their
probably. They got Quinn Ewers back.
Yeah, that's what's winning
number one in the country. I think you
name?
beat USC. USC doesn't scare me. I think you lose at Washington, so that's 2 losses. You might lose at Oregon. You might lose to Oregon. They've got the quarterback coming from Oklahoma again.
Very true. Oh yeah.
So that's 3 losses, and then Ohio State. At Ohio State, who spent $13 million on players this year. So 8-4.
Here's a quick question. I won't have to go to break. Ryan Day, could he be the next coach to do what coaches are doing, leave an institution and go to the NFL?
Well, here's the thing with Ryan Day. They just pay whatever they want. It doesn't matter, because they just do it. You know what I mean? There's such a transactional university.
True.
He wants a right tackle. Oh, he's got somebody to give him money, so it's not a headache for him. He's gonna get these guys their money. It's not. You don't have to jump through a couple of hoops. Probably. Right. You got a pool of money, and you just pay them. Speaking of money, Mike Evans wants $30 million. Is he worth it? We'll get into that and go around the NFL. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Big Boy.
All right, guys. Wintertime's always better with winter comfort foods from Big Boy. Start your day off with a great breakfast. The stuffed potato pancakes. The lumberjack omelet is back. So is the Santa Fe garden. And they got the apple pie hot cakes to boot. The Southern Comfort chicken bowl for lunch alongside the veal parmesan, and end it with a great shake and some pies too. The gingerbread shake still there for a limited time only at your local Big Boy.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Jack Labrador and jacklabrador.gg. It's the game sweeping Detroit and the rest of the country. You want to get on board, guys. Get yourself a Champions deck right now for only $20. Go to that QR code right above my head. Or you can go to jacklabrador.gg. It's a new way to play rock, paper, scissors, 2 new symbols, and a franchise-changing 3-point play. It's a fantastic game, $20 to get it going. Instead of rock, paper, scissors, teach your kid Jack Labrador, jacklabrador.gg.
All right, here we go. Around the NFL, Tom Mazaway.
All right.
We swing it over to you.
I got a lot of coaching stuff to do, but I'll start it off with Mike Evans, one of the best receivers in the game, had another year and a great playoff against the Lions. A couple of maybe little mistakes in that game, but he's looking to continue his career but he's expecting to make about $30 million a year. Who's got enough money to pay Mike Evans, guys?
Look, I love Mike Evans. Got a chance to talk to him. The first time I met him was this past year when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Jets did the practice deal. Great player, 10 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Yep.
And this season, he led the league in touchdowns with 13.
He's a Hall of Famer.
100% first ballot. And then also, he had his third best year ever. This is year 10 for him. With that being said, he's absolutely crazy if he's thinking he's getting that money. He's 10 years in as a big wide receiver. He's not fast. He's not dynamic. He's not extra. You're not paying a guy going into year 11 $25 to $30 million. Look, and I'm not hating because this is my position. I want to get all the money he can get.
It's a reality.
It's a reality. Devontae Adams, $30 million receiver. In year 10, by the way, same as Mike Evans. When did he get paid? 2 years ago when he was going into year 9. Tyreek Evans, another $30 million receiver. He's going into year 8. He got paid in year 6. He's explosive. You can justify giving him that type of money. You can't justify giving Michael Evans at year 11 $25 to $30 million. I think he also gave Josh Reynolds a case of the drops because he dropped 3 passes against the Lions. Great player, just can't do it.
You never know. I hear stories like this. Off the top of my head, I say there's no way. Right? There's no way somebody's going to pay $30 million. I mean, hell, Jared Goff made, $35 million this year? But there are desperate teams out there. Maybe somebody that feels they're a player or two away from a Super Bowl or competing for a Super Bowl. Maybe they do something like this. You know how the cap can be so funny. They can do anything they want with the cap. They could fudge anything they want. So maybe there is a way to give him at least $25 million on the lower end, and maybe a 2-year, $50 million deal.
I think Tampa Bay should keep him, and I think they should somehow get his money to him, like the Bobby Bonilla deal with the Mets.
And Maz, that's exactly where I was going. I would say because you see what happened with Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald stayed with the Arizona Cardinals even as he got older. Still was very productive. Arizona reworked his deal almost every other year. They reworked his deal. They kept it. He's a leader. He's a guy you can depend on. He's a guy that really is a staple player. I mean, that's their staple player is Mike Evans in that franchise. So I think you can find a way to do it and make that happen. But you're right, Ryan, because Odell Beckham got $15 million this year. Like, Odell Beckham, first off, 2 knee surgeries, didn't even play the season before. He got $15 million. So you might be right. Somebody might pay him that cash.
I know one guy that would love to have him still, and that's Baker Mayfield.
Hell yeah.
Baker Mayfield is going to be making some money, guys. He's expecting a multi-year deal worth $40 million per season. Baker Mayfield, not Jared Goff. Baker Mayfield. If he's getting 40, what's Goff getting?
Yeah, $350.
And I love Baker.
Yeah.
Jared Goff's getting $50 million. Everybody just better be comfortable with it.
It's the market, right?
It is what the market dictates. He's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And if you don't think he is, just go look at his numbers and look at the teams that were left playing at the end of the season. He's a top 5 guy in the NFL right now.
Bucks aren't bringing back Mike Evans. They're going to pay Baker Mayfield, whatever. But also, remember what we talked about when we were getting into the Lions game? How many receivers do they have on that squad?
Oh, yeah.
They got Palmer. They got Godwin. They got 2 other guys.
Got that speedster.
Palmer. I don't think they. I don't think they bring him back because of that. They got other wide receivers. They're probably going a different
Speaking
direction.
of Baker, he was having a little fun yesterday at the Pro Bowl game.
Is he in trouble?
Check this quick little interview out with Baker Mayfield.
Enough to turn it up. My last pass I threw was to Derek Barnes in Detroit. So yeah. Appreciate you. Back to you, Lord.
There you go. Baker Mayfield having some fun. This guy has found himself, Bray.
I like him again. Look, man, when he was in Oklahoma, I was a huge
Stick even likes him now.
I was a huge Baker Mayfield fan when he was in Oklahoma. I thought they were going to beat Georgia. That was a hell of a game they played out at the Rose Bowl. Like, guy could play. Guy was fun. The guy was Dougie, and the guy was hitting the moves. He put the flag at Ohio State. Somewhere along the line in Cleveland, he changed. But you're right, man. He is back to the Baker Mayfield that I like.
Micah Parsons. You spoke about him, how much fun he's having at these games. I was a Micah Parsons guy. I still am. Penei Sewell's definitely climbed pretty much even with him, maybe pulled ahead of him in my eyes. But Micah Parsons kind of threw his team under the bus on earlier this week on his podcast.
I'm at complete peace. And I say that because I don't think I could have done anything more to try to win that game. And that comes to watching film with the other guys in the room, saying what I'm seeing, being vocal out there on the field. I was completely at peace because I know I don't have no regrets about how I performed or what I put into the game. And, and I appreciate what really matters.
Hey, look, man, like those podcasts can get you in trouble, and 100%. And the crazy thing about it, he's not telling a lie. And that was a big thing too. I think they talked about why didn't he play the linebacker position more often to help stop the run? And he said his response was, he said, look, the personnel has to go through the coaches. The coaches call the plays, they call the personnel, and we execute. So if you're not putting me in a position to do it, then I can't do it. We have linebacker packages. I think this is him shooting shots at Dan Quinn because Dan Quinn's gone now.
He liked Dan Quinn.
But now when you lose and people looking at you, and he left, it's like, yeah, I like Dan Quinn and said, hey, Michael, why didn't you guys win? You suck. You didn't make any plays. Well, Dan didn't put me in a situation to make plays. Everybody is likable until you get under that gun, and now he's no longer there. He doesn't have to deal with it.
You know what Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick did with Lawrence Taylor?
Let him do whatever the hell he wanted to do.
Whatever the hell he wanted.
Whatever.
That's what this guy should be doing.
100%.
If this guy really wants to step his game up, do whatever the F you want.
You know what, man, and I'm gonna say something quick. I'm glad you said that. Troy Polamalu, the Steelers let him do whatever he wanted.
Yes.
A lot of times, like we see the Troy Polamalu highlights. I played in the division with him for 4 years.
Oh yeah.
I saw a lot of non-highlights. I saw he hawked my ass down.
Yeah.
Only time I got walked, but I saw a lot of non-highlights because they let him do what he wanted to. All those little jumping over and blitzes. You know how many times he jumped off sides doing that? You know how many times he blitzed the wrong gap and leave somebody like unstuck? Now, he was one of the best to ever play. But sometimes you just got to let a player play.
Yes.
You let Troy be Troy, they win the Super Bowl. Some players they're not on that list of what you can do with other players. Like, look, I know that Troy's over here or Lawrence is over here. Y'all don't worry about that. We're going to win. Sometimes you got to let players be players.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Let the guy take the
let him
belt
do
off
it.
him. Take the ropes off.
Right.
Let him go.
Why'd you start the meeting without him?
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, Bill, LT was late to the meeting. Why the hell did you start the meeting without him?
Absolutely.
That's the story Bill Belichick tells about Bill Parcells
about
back
Lawrence.
in the 80s.
About Lawrence being late.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor was late to a meeting.
And it's funny. Even
Why'd you start without him?
But even in that story,
Fantastic.
you realize like Bill Belichick still wanted to be his own person.
Yeah.
Because he heard him and he still was that person with Tom and other players. He's like, I can't be that way.
By the way, did you know that Bill Belichick actually finished second for the Washington Redskins head coaching position? He wanted that gig. It was between him and Dan Quinn. And they went with Dan Quinn over Belichick.
Now, that is surprising to me because I feel like if you're
called Washington from the get-go.
If you're going to go with that type of coach, why not just go with the Belichick?
Yes.
If you want to go with a Ben Johnson, great.
Yeah.
I understand. You're going in a different direction, this, that, and the other thing. But Dan Quinn,
two veteran
over
coaches,
Bill Belichick,
yeah,
right.
That is surprising to me.
This is why I don't believe it is surprising. No one likes Bill Belichick, and we live in this world where you gotta like people.
Yeah.
Like this ain't the old school where you didn't have to like them, but you respect them. People gotta like each other. Like and if I'm Magic Johnson and Sky Harris, and I'm interviewing everybody in Gillette or everybody in Foxborough. Like, who likes this guy? Nobody likes it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You're probably right about this thing.
I really think it's just that.
I mean, I can't argue with you because you've been right every step of the way on that.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't believe that Bill Belichick has not been hired by somebody.
Also, I think Bill Belichick gets hired if Bill Belichick had a couple playoffs since Tom left. He's got one playoff since Tom left, and then after that, they completely fell off the rails. So I think that's another part of it, too.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, Hard Knocks will be back on HBO. We all thought it might be the end, right?
It's close.
But these three teams are supposedly your choices for
easy.
Hard Knocks. It's the Bears, the Broncos, and the Saints.
It's either the Bears or the Broncos. The Saints are out of it. If Russell Wilson gets traded and Sean Payton gets a guy, or gets cut or traded, Sean Payton gets his guy, that's very enticing, juicy. Sean Payton's a juicy kind of guy. Pause.
Yeah, double pause.
The Chicago Bears, if they get Caleb Williams, a guy who doesn't want to be there, reportedly, doesn't want to be there, well, that's your slam dunk. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get a guy coming to an organization that doesn't want to be there,
Very
it's a
juicy.
slam dunk.
Very juicy.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to put a list up of the new coordinators throughout the NFL. You guys have a list in front of you. I want you to take your list out, and we're going to go through them all. There's quite a bit. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. For the Raiders, Cliff Kingsbury.
3 minutes.
What do you think of Cliff Kingsbury?
I think it's a great hire.
Great hire.
It's a great hire.
We're going to go run them right down. Arthur Smith for the Steelers.
Great hire.
Horrible.
Kellen Moore, Eagles.
Terrible.
Zach Robinson, Falcons.
Don't know enough about him.
Alex Van Pelt, the quarterback guru, Patriots.
Yes.
I like it.
Great.
Shane Waldron, Bears.
Good.
Joe Brady, Bills, stays
Fine.
there. Ken Dorsey leaves the Bills, goes to the Browns.
Terrible.
He's a horrible person. He played for the Browns, too.
Brad Itzik, Panthers.
Don't know enough about him.
Liam Cohen,
It's a no for me.
Bucks.
Same.
He left Kentucky to go to the Bucks, by the way.
I'm sure he did.
Okay.
I
Titans
like
got
it.
Nick Holes, not Nick Holtz, but Nick Holes.
Don't know enough about
and
him.
Dan Pitcher to the Bengals.
Don't know enough about him.
Defense.
Who's the catcher?
Defense. Eagles, Vic Fangio.
How about that for an upgrade?
Love it.
Ryan Nielsen, I don't know much about him with the Jags. Denard Wilson with the Titans. Zach Orr, Ravens. Chris Shula, the grandson of the great Don Shula with the Rams.
He was going to get a job with the Dolphins, too.
How about that?
Chose the Rams.
He goes to the Lambs.
Sean
Jimmy
McVay.
Lake, Falcons. Here's one. Jesse Minter.
I love this hire just because
Chargers.
I know him.
And DeMarcus Covington, don't know much about him. Bobby Bavich. We just told you about Jeff Halfley going to the Packers.
I love it because I
from
love what he
BC.
said. He said, I just want to coach.
That's
I love
it. Eric Washington to the Bears. And I leave you guys with a Jim Harbaugh quote. Pete, we're going to talk about this one. Jim Harbaugh talking about the Harbros.
Ooh.
When I was 6, maybe my brother was 8, we were living in Iowa City, and my dad came into the room and kind of get us to quit talking so loud. But and he said it. You two brothers. Who could possibly have it better than you two? You'll be able to share your hopes, your dreams. You can talk sports, talk your goals. Who could have it better than you two? Nobody, Dad. Nobody. Yeah, that's right. And he was right. He was right. We had that that just best friend relationship and talking football. There's just nobody better. Nobody than John Harbaugh. The way he coaches, proof's in the pudding. The way he builds teams. The way he treats people with a class and a grace. Just is much gratitude for his example that he set.
I love that guy.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Love him. Except when he was the head coach of San Francisco.
Congratulations to the Chargers and their fans.
Yeah.
You finally got a coach. Your best coach since the great Don Coryell.
Oh, man, the great Don Coryell.
Hall of Famer. Air Coryell.
I wonder what Fouts thinks
Kellen
of him.
Winslow and Dan Fouts.
Oh, love Fouts.
J.J. Jefferson. Charlie Joyner.
Fouts is such a
Chuck
jerk
Muncie.
in the water boy, though. Bray, get us out of here, my friend. Hell of a week. Hell of a week,
hell of a show, and we're gonna make this one simple. In the words of Ryan Ermanni, it's juicy.
Who's got it better than us?
Nobody.
JP, peace, bye back. Appreciate you guys. You guys have fought
Love
through it the
you
last
guys.
2 days, man. Get some rest and come in this on Monday. Well rested and refreshed. Maz, love you. Ryan, love you. See
Love
you
you,
guys.
baby.
Appreciate you guys too for tuning in. I know it's tough this week with the Lions losing, but you guys stayed the course. You stayed with us. We promise to make this a fun off season for you. Love you guys. We're out.
Long live Apollo Creed.